is brought to you by Safety FM.
Go get that crown.
Now give me that. Lay off those pounds, shake off that. Go get that crown. Now give me that. Let's go. Now give me that. Lay off those pounds, shake off that. Go get that crown, now give me that. Yeah, now give me that. Yeah, now give me that.
I'm catching my breather. I'm close to the edge. Girl, you passing the reefer, no ether. No catching, no visa. I run in my bag, be like running hyenas, amnesia. No, I don't know if I'm standing beneath her. She put in the lever, my fever reliever. I'm not coming back.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know, in preparation of things, that does not matter. It does not matter who the host is. It matters who the listeners are. Yep, that's what's going on. Yep. Anyways, today is Wednesday, October the 4th. Of 2023, day 277th of the year, and only 88 days left to go. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at. No, seriously, we really are.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Yes, USA, Canada, UK. That's where we hang. That's where we bang. That's where we do all the fun stuff. So anyways, how has it been for the last 24 so for you? No, seriously, how's the last 24 hours been? Hopefully good, grand, and indifferent, if all necessary. If not, that sucks so. I know how it goes. So there you go. Anyway, so a lot of stuff to discuss today as we get into the Hyperloop of all the stuff. If you were definitely hanging out with anything government related, I did yesterday. You kind of saw all kinds of fun stuff. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, what the hell was going on? I mean, I think it obsessed every news story that was out there about the things that were going on with the government here in the U.S. of Azo. Yes, the U.S. of Azo. So there you go. I don't know what kind of hanging out you were doing yesterday, but I'm taking a look and all that kind of fun stuff. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff going on as always. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's start talking about the trends of the ends, because I think that that's always important as we are hanging out. So let's take a look around at what's going on with the trends. I guess before I get into that, I should say that we're a show that's about safety in the news and safety. Just in case if you're trying to figure out what the hell you're about to get into, if this is your first time around here. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse, multi-network, multi-whatever. So we talk about safety in the news and safety. We do a main story. We hang out. We do all kinds of fun stuff with interesting people. There is no doubt about that. And then when it's all said and done, we wrap it up and go, okay, cool. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. It's kind of how the slew of things goes. So we broadcast across safetyfm.com and the apps and radiobig.fm. You can also see us on some of the streamer emers as it goes about. And sometimes you don't see us across the stream or Evers, just depending on how that goes. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com will get you there. That's callinradio. We'll get you to places where you want to be. And then we go from there. That's it. That kind of sums up everything that we sort of do. And then we poke fun at the bear. And it's Whip 'em Out Wednesday, which is always a good day to, make sure that you're interacting with everything that's going on in real time. Yeah, Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Yeah, let's not forget about that. That is for sure. So with that being said, now let's start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight show.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking a look at the trends of the ends of the ends, the long-awaited trial for Sam Bankman-Fried is underway. An EV battery plant is unintended consequences. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the things that were going on in the federal government yesterday. Ed Sheeran went blind smoking with Snoop Dogg, and Todd Chrisley is teaching finance class in prison. Whoa, how ironic is that? So there you go. There's that. There will be also some more murders thanks to Hulu renewing its these hit shows. We'll talk about that as we get into hour number 2 and 3. If you hang out for the Jay Allen in the Morning show aspect of it. And then let's see. We're going to take some dives and some deep dives, that is, into some things that are going on inside of the world. So we'll talk about all that kind of fun stuff. And definitely really keep it moving and grooving with everything else going on, because why would we not do that? So with that being said, let's get it all started with the people that are hanging out waiting to tell us about the news. Who's at the desk today? Well, Michael Kastner's there. Who else did you expect? So Michael Kastner will tell you what exactly is going on inside of the world of the news. Just hang tight. We'll get them all started here in just a momento. So here is the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. An election for the new Speaker of the House is set to be held next Wednesday. Members leaving the House GOP conference meeting said a candidate forum for Speaker will be held next Tuesday, with the election held the following day. Kevin McCarthy says he will not run again following the chamber's decision to remove him in a historic vote forced by Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is calling on House Republicans to expel Gaetz. Mark Mayfield with more.
In an op-ed for the Washington Post on Tuesday, Gingrich called Gaetz anti-Republican and claimed he was engaging in childish behavior and has become actively destructive to the conservative movement. Gingrich said Gaetz should be expelled from the House Republican Conference for his motion to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. McCarthy was voted out of office Tuesday after Gaetz put forward a motion to vacate the chair. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Another day of testimony is expected to be heard today in the civil fraud trial of former President Donald Trump. While his company has been found liable for financial fraud, it must be proven they also did so intentionally.
Although Judge Arthur Engoron already decided that Trump and his organization and the other defendants engaged in persisted and repeated fraud, intent is not a portion of the statute for which he's already been found liable.
He's accused by State Attorney General Letitia James of inflating his net worth in order to get more favorable loans from banks. Yesterday, Trump's longtime accountant was on the witness stand. Also, the judge has issued a gag order which bans anyone involved in the case from making comments online or in public about the judge's staff. Ford Motor Company and General Motors are laying off an additional 500 employees as the UAW strike continues. Ford is laying off 330 workers in Chicago and Lima, Ohio at their factories. GM says they're laying off 164 workers in Ohio and Indiana. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. At least 20 people have died after a bus plunged off an overpass near Venice. A boat carrying 280 migrants has landed at Spain's Canary Islands. Lawmakers in the US have voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, the first time it's happened in American history. And the teenage suspect arrested following a deadly gun rampage in a luxury Bangkok mall has told police someone was telling him to shoot others.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Baltimore police say an active shooter event at Morgan State University is no longer active. Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley spoke to the press this morning.
And we know there's a total of 5 victims, ages 18 to 22. We believe all have non-life-threatening injuries at this time. There were 4 males and 1 female. All victims are being treated and transported by first responders.
Those shot Tuesday night are suffering from non-life-threatening injuries. At least 4 of the victims are students. The shooting took place after an annual homecoming event at Morgan State. Everyone's phone will go off today at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. Lisa Taylor explains why.
That's because the federal government will be conducting a nationwide test for its emergency alert system and wireless emergency alerts. The former involves an alert to all radios and televisions, and the latter will reach cell phones. FEMA said in a statement that the test, which is in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, is to ensure the systems continue to be an effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. I'm Lisa Taylor.
1 out of 75 U.S. births result in stillbirths, but 1 in 4 stillbirths are preventable. Brian Shook reports.
Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley co-sponsored a bill to address the stillbirth crisis that passed the Senate. It clarifies that stillbirth prevention activities and research are an allowable use of funds. Prevention can help save the lives of mothers and babies. The bill is the first step in allocating money to prevention efforts and research. The bill moves to the U.S. House for consideration. I'm Brian Shook.
An entire Air Force squadron is cut off from the bar because of what commanders called a pattern of irresponsible alcohol consumption by members of the unit. A memo sent this week to 721st Aerial Port Squadron, based out of Ramstein, Germany, said alcohol consumption outside your dorm or residence is prohibited. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Oh, I'm being told that the stream is not working on video. That's okay. Doesn't hurt my feelings, because as I've said it once, and I'll say it a million times more, we are a radio channel first, and everything else falls into that secondary condition that we talk about. Yeah, I know, it sucks. But listen, it's the truth of the matter. So let's do it this way. What I'll do, just to make sure that I make people happy, is that after this is done, we will upload it to the podcast, the podcast platform that actually does support video. So we'll have it there. That's number one. And then I guess should we reissue it? I guess we'll reissue it and piss some people off by doing so. But listen, if you hang out on our podcast platform that we use, we have video on there. We don't release this show every day on video on the podcast aspect, but I guess we'll do it today because I have people telling me in the boxo that's what's going on. So I never understand it because I always make the assumption that you're driving at this time in regards to getting this out there. I mean, that's my assumption. But then again, you know what they say about assuming. Maybe we should stay away from that. Anyway, so let's get into some of the news of what the hell's going on, because I think that that's going to be important for what we're attempting to do between you and I. So let's do this. The FTX files. Let's do this one. Attorney began jury selection yesterday in the St. Bankman-Fried fraud conspiracy trial. SBF appeared in court sporting a professional cropped haircut and departed from his iconic frizzy tangled hair. So there you go. Made it to supercuts. Opening arguments are expected to begin today once 12 jurors are finalized. So there you go. Meanwhile, apparently SBF took out insurance policy even before FTX collapsed that would help him pay for such legal defense. The policy has failed to pay out adequately so far. His attorneys are now separately suing for those funds. Who are they suing? Are they suing the insurance company or are they suing him? Because that makes it even more interesting. Could you imagine somebody's helping you out in a lawsuit, but they're suing you at the same time? Boy, does that get interesting. Anyways, for all their avocado toast and student loan debt, millennials turn out to be ahead of the game in terms of retirement savings compared to the Gen Xers and Boomers counterpart. The Wall Street Journal reports that when older millennials currently earning the median salary, they'll be able to replace about 60% of their income with proceeds from retirement accounts and Social Security. On the other side, members of the older generation are only able to replace about half of their income in retirement. So it turns out auto-enrollment in corporate 401k plans for millennial has been a boom in their accounts, this is according to the Wall Street Journal. So what do you think? Just some things to talk about. So I want to make sure that we talk about this one more time today because I think it's going to be important. Every cell phone, smartphone connected to a cell network in the United States will get a message this afternoon to test the country's emergency response system. The test will begin at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time and run for about 30 minutes. Radio and TV stations will announce similar messages around the same time. This is according to NPR. So I guess I should give you fair warning that if you are in a meeting today and you had it planned out, this is going to happen regardless of what the hell you want to do. So don't get pissy-issy if things are blaring and all that kind of fun stuff because nobody's going to love that. But, hey, those things happen. So there you go. Anyways, last year, Japanese manufacturing company Panasonic started building a massive electric vehicle battery factory in rural Kansas with the help of $6.8 billion in subsidies from the Inflation Reduction Act. Go figure, there's not enough power supply in the area to make the factory operational. So Kansas City government has authorized a coal power plant that was scheduled to be decommissioned to keep on burning in the meantime. So this is coming from Cowboy State Daily. I mean, that's an oxy. Well, I mean, when you start thinking about it, if you really give it some thought.
Duh.
So what do you think should happen? I mean, I'm just saying. Some very weird things there. So there you go. Anyway, let's continue talking. An all-inclusive, a retired Australian couple booked a back-to-back Princess Cruises, totaling 795 days because it's much cheaper than going to a nursing home. Marty and Jess Anson set sail in June of 2022, and they're expected to deboard sometime in August of 2024. Yeah, you heard me. I said August of 2024. So could you think about that for a moment? I mean, just think about it. It's a long-ass time in regards of doing it, but I guess those are the things that happen from time to time when you start taking a look around. So would you want to be on a boat for that long a period of time? I don't know. In a few weeks, I'm going to jump on a boat. This will be a first time for doing the cruise and ooze and stuff. And if you've hung out with me before, you know how I've talked about being Petri dishes in regards to that. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, with that being said, I think I owe you some money. Don't I owe you some money? I think I owe you some money. Let's do this. Let's bring some Erin Royale into our life and let her tell us about some money matters.
Student loan repayments have resumed. Republicans have thwarted attempts to continue a moratorium that began during the COVID pandemic.
The president has acted illegally, claiming to forgive student loans that he had no right to, quote, forgive. I think people who borrowed the money and who owe the money should pay it back.
That's Senator John Cornyn of Texas. He says President Biden acted illegally in forgiving student loan debt.
I don't know of any reason why people can't continue to pay their student loans on time.
A new list from Forbes ranks Elon Musk as the richest person in America. The 42nd annual Forbes 400 list was released Tuesday morning, and Musk is number one for the second year in a row, with an estimated worth of $251 billion, thanks to a higher valuation of SpaceX shares and a rebound in Tesla shares. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is number two for a second year in a row, with an estimated worth of $161 billion. Software giant Larry Ellison ranks third this year with $151 billion. Rounding out the top five are investors Warren Buffett and Google co-founder Larry Page. Tens of thousands of healthcare workers are poised to strike on Wednesday if negotiations don't improve with Kaiser Permanente. The workers say they're protesting unfair labor practices and unsafe staffing levels. This could be the largest healthcare strike in U.S. history. It will span hundreds of hospitals and facilities across the nation and affect 75,000 healthcare workers across the country. Jury selection is starting in the fraud and money laundering trial of FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried. The one-time crypto billionaire has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of wire fraud, security fraud, and money laundering. If convicted, several of the counts come with sentences of 20 years in prison. The trial is expected to last about 6 weeks. With consumer and business news, Erin Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Erin, for the information on what the hell is going on, because, hey, no doubt about it, we need that information in our life on what the hell is happening. Anyway, so let's continue talking a little bit about some numbers, because that's what we do around here. The Dow has its worst day since March on Tuesday, sliding 430 points to close at 33,002. The S&P was down 58 points to close at 4,229, and the Nasdaq decreased by 248 points to close at 13,059. West Texas Intermediate closed at $89 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $91 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.79 on Tuesday. Bitcoin was down about half a point, trading just around $27,300. There was about 2,105 flights delayed into and out of the United States on Tuesday, and then about 55 such cancellation. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $1.2 billion jackpot, or a $551.7 million cash payout. So if you are ready to play the game, it is time. No, seriously, it's time. It's time to play the game. That comes off of a song. Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Yeah, Motorhead. Yeah. Time to play the game. Yeah. If you're a wrestling fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so let me not get too far into that because that could get into a whole other sequence of events of us talking about some stuff. Take a listen to this. A Catholic priest is pleading not guilty to felony child pornography charges in Ventura County. Daniel Martindale has more info.
38-year-old Rodolfo Martinez Guevara is a member of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles and is affiliated with a church in Oxnard. He was recently charged with possessing more than 600 images of child sex abuse material, including photos and videos of minors younger than 12 years old. Martinez Guevara, who pleaded not guilty on Tuesday, is being held without bail. He is due back in court on October 13th. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that information right there on what is going on. Definitely will be taking a look on what the hell's going down there. Former President Trump plans to be back in Manhattan courtroom today for the third day of the civil fraud trial in New York State. Scott Pringle has more.
Well, Donald Trump's longtime accountant Donald Bender is expected to continue to testify. Yesterday, he said the Trump organization did not give him all the financial documents he needed. Attorney General Letitia James.
The defendants cannot blame their repeated and persistent fraud on their accounting firm.
Trump's legal team argues the banks were not defrauded, but rather made money on Trump's loans.
She's a fraud. Her numbers are fraudulent, and this case should be dismissed.
James is accusing Trump of inflating his net worth so his company could get better loans and insurance deals. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for that information right there, because, you know, it is important for us to show what exactly is going on. Let's keep it into the politic realm. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz says nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. Mark Mayfield has more.
His comments came after the House, in a historic vote, stripped McCarthy of the Speaker's gavel on Tuesday. Gaetz railed against McCarthy for failing to rein in government spending and breaking promises that he made to conservatives back in January when he was first elected Speaker. Gaetz said that he thought Steve Scalise of Louisiana would make a great Speaker. The Florida congressman forced the vote to remove McCarthy late Monday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, so what do you think on that one? That makes it one of those interesting things for sure. So there you go. Tens of thousands healthcare workers are poised to strike today at the last-minute deal isn't reached by Kaiser Permanente. Patricia Johnson Gibson is a longtime Kaiser employee representing SEIU Local 105 in Colorado, says the Kaiser has not wanted to come to the table and have a good faith bargaining conversation.
We would not come and ask Kaiser Permanente to give us better staffing. If you are already at market value, it would be attractive. I worked for this company for 26 years, and we're in the worst state of staffing that I've ever seen.
Workers say that staffing shortage is one of the biggest problems with Kaiser Permanente. They also want to increase pay, claiming that it should attract more employees to the company and lead to better patient care. This will be the largest healthcare worker strike in U.S. history. It will span hundreds of hospitals and facilities across the nation and affect 75,000 healthcare workers across the country. Patricia Johnson also went as far as saying that Kaiser employees say that workers don't want to strike, but are most likely moving forward with the move.
People are nervous. People are concerned about their patients. But more than that, our employees are making a huge sacrifice. And that sacrifice is to give up 3-day pay to take a stand.
So what do you think about this? Because I think it becomes a very interesting one as we have that convo. I mean, think about it. You are essentially asking people to step away. And it's, you know, if you're in the healthcare industry, it becomes weird because the thing that you're working with, because can we use the word patient? You know, it's alive and it moves and it does all kinds of interesting things. You know, you're helping it survive.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, New York City Mayor Eric Adams leaves today on a 4-day trip to South and Central America to try to discourage more migrants from coming to the city. Really? That's a thing? Let's take a listen.
The first stop for the mayor, Mexico City. Then later in the week, he'll be in Colombia and Ecuador. Mayor Adams says he wants to fight what he calls misinformation on social media that's painting an unrealistic picture for asylum seekers.
Coming to New York doesn't mean you're going to stay in a 5-star hotel. It doesn't mean that the mere fact you come here, you automatically are going to be allowed to work.
Adams says he'll appear on numerous media outlets to talk about the overcrowded shelters and federal labor laws to discourage more migrants from coming. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
You know, I'm kind of confused by this. Because, listen, a 5-star hotel to some is not that big of a deal. A hotel is a big deal. I mean, I just want to make sure that we're understanding. Like, 5-star hotel, you have to have a definition on what that means. If you're giving me room and board regardless, even if it's a 1-star, hey, it's a star. And, you know, I'm not seeing the thousands of stars because I'm sleeping outside. I'm just saying in general here. Just some stuff to think about. And listen, I don't know if you're going to go around and tell people, hey, it's not that great to come here. Because it is a great place to come to regardless of what the hell is going on. I mean, I'm just saying. Something to think about. But, you know, who gives a shit?
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a 33-year-old Oxnard man has been sentenced to 10 years and 8 months in prison for molesting a child. Daniel Martindale reports.
That was the maximum sentence the man could get. In July, he was convicted of 2 felony counts of lewd acts on a child younger than the age of 14. Prosecutors say the man and the victim lived in the same home. The victim was 11 years old when the sexual abuse started. The abuse lasted from 2016 to 2020. I'm Daniel Martindale.
What the hell is wrong with people? Like, seriously, like, what are you thinking? But anyways, 10 years, 8 months. Glad you got the max. There you go. Detectives are looking for the man who stabbed a public policy advocate to death while he was sitting at a bus stop in Brooklyn. Scott Pringle has more.
Police say Ryan Carson was waiting for a bus Monday morning in Bed-Stuy with his girlfriend when a man approached and said he was going to kill him. The man waved a knife at Carson, who tried running away but tripped over a bench, and that's when police say he stabbed Carson in what appears to be a random attack. Video shows the man then starting to go after Carson's girlfriend. Carson was a campaign manager with New York Public Interest Research Group. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scotty, for the Pringles. That's for sure. So thank you for the information. Interesting to see how that one's actually turning on. I think it's time for us to do that thing that we do, that we call it the main story. Yeah, the main story. Let's get some main stories.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I think it might be some time to dance, some time to sing, some time to take a look around at what the hell is going on inside of this world. Yeah, I said that all in that very short period of time. So with that being said, you know it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday. You know it is that day that we talk about that. But also it is the day that we tend to get to the middle of the week, that some people call it a hump day. Some people call it, hey, let's talk about what the hell is going on. I look at it from the standpoint of, we need to have discussions of what's going on in real time, opposed to it being, hey, let's procrastinate a little bit about what's happening. And listen, I've been looking for love in all the wrong places. Okay, no, that's a song. But I've been looking around trying to figure some things out. And boy, does our market, does our niche have some of the weirdest stuff on there. And some of the weirdest things that I see, it's yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I'm hanging out in a consulting group. And listen, consultants consult, I get it. And a guy is looking on how to start a consulting company for safety. Want somebody to tell him what should the price points be. And also discuss that he has limited knowledge in safety, and how can he sell that to make money off of it with the future pretense of being able to raise the price. These are all things that were just right there. And I look at this and I go, okay, cool. Listen, let me explain something real quick. We live in an environment that our workers team members normally know the most about a system. I almost said a symptom. About a system. So it is very difficult for me to hear somebody saying, hey, I'm trying to start a consulting business. I need to understand the pricing of how I need to price this thing out. But also at the same time, too, I need to understand what needs to be done from the standpoint of, well, I have limited knowledge, so how can I price it? I mean, think about what I'm saying there. Could you imagine going to a mechanic and go, hey, listen, I'm going to price you some stuff, but I have limited knowledge right now. But, I'm just going to sell you some stuff and go from there. It's weird. I mean, it's weird when you kind of see it out there in the market. And listen, these groups that I look at are kind of open to the public. I mean, it's not like you're hidden behind some kind of paywall that you're asking these things. And don't get me wrong. Yes, knowledge is power and it helps out. But I think that sometimes people think of this whole thing of safety consulting as this glamour thing in regards of what's going on. Of, hey, I can make the world different. And listen, we all want to make the world a little bit different in regards of being able to help people. I'm not discouraging any of that. So please, let's make sure that we're all on the same page. But geez Louise, what the hell are we thinking when it comes to certain aspects? Because when it's all said and done, what are we really doing when we're doing consulting? What are we really doing when we are asking for somebody help consult? We're asking for someone who has a better understanding of X, whatever that X is. So I don't know. How do you look at this? Because listen, if you bring in what they call an SME, a subject matter expert, to come in and talk to you about stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I don't understand what the hell you're doing, and I don't understand this, and I don't understand that, and that's what you ask them to consult on to you for, that could be a problem. Like, I had a conversation last week with someone, and listen, I don't think anybody's going to be calling me up asking me to do consulting on AI, because I am just not the AI guy. I mean, I know how to use it. I know how to play with it. But that's about it. That's going to be the highlight of what I have going on. So if you were to call me, or if I was to contact you and said, hey, I need to come into your establishment, and let me make sure that I'm clear as I say this, as of October the 4th, 7:37 in the morning, Eastern Time, 2023, and say, hey, let me help you with AI, I would not be the person to do that. Because at this point in my lifetime, I have minimal understanding of that. Now, if you contacted me and said, hey, listen, let's have some interaction of safety communication and how to do that stuff and apply it into the world of HOP, I might be your guy. Because that's the shit that I've worked on for some period of time to be able to get this over. So it's weird when you see posts like that. It's weird when you go, what you're doing to an organization is essentially a disservice. And don't get me wrong, I understand we all have to learn somewhere. But geez Louise, don't know how that would work out in that particular case. What do you think about consulting? How does that come about into your brain? Or do you look at it as it's that other C word?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
There are off-whites, outright low light. Rewrite time might be like midnight, spotlight, red light, green light. Now give me that. No, give me that. Now give me that. Now give me that. Now give me that.
Seems like I hit some nerve endings there, that's for sure. Yeah, give me that heat. This is the Rated R Safety Show. Coming to you live from Orlando. This right here, Liam Back with Heat. Just so you know. Yeah, this song's really available on YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Spotify. If you're looking for that heat. So there you go. Some things to think about. So here's what I'm going to do to the videoers. I will get that your general direction in just a moment. When we are done with hour number one, we will get it posted right away. We won't do it in any kind of like time marker. we'll just dump it as quick as possible. That way you can have access to it because people want to see the video. I don't know why, but they do. So there you go. Anyway, so let me tell you about the most important thing that I am going to ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. That will get you moving and grooving in regards of anything that you're looking for, because that's what we do around here. We want to get you moving and we want to get you grooving. There is no doubt about that. So, To Write Love on Her Arms will get you started. Listen, if you click on the section that says Find Help, there's all kinds of different resources available for you. Anything related to eating disorders, addiction, depression, anxiety, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, and resources. Listen, if you don't need any of that side, there's events that are coming up, there's stories, and how you can get involved. I always tell people that it is great to have resources available because you never know what might happen. TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Readily available for you anytime, 24/7, just so you know. So there you go. There you go. So let's continue talking real quick about some other things that are going on inside of the world, though. Let's have some pillow talk. So the light is out after a long day and you're finally ready to drift off. What are you thinking about? It's important. Scientists say that what goes through your mind before you doze off can impact the quality of sleep you have. In study, those that report good quality sleep experience mostly visual sensory images as they fall asleep, seeing people and objects and having dreamlike experiences. Those with insomnia or poor quality sleep report that their sleep thoughts tend to be less visual and more focused on planning or problem solving. These people are also likely to stress about steps. Yeah, no, seriously, stress about sleep, not steps. And as you're trying to sleep, leading to vicious cycle, putting effort into sleep actually wakes you up more. The good news is that you can use certain techniques called cognitive refocusing to change the content of your pre-sleep thoughts. These include deciding before you go to bed what you'll focus on as what you and what you wait for before you go to sleep. So, hey, don't these people know that it's 2023? Everyone thinks about Taylor Swift all the time. I mean, wouldn't that just be the thing? And also the main thought is that I go to sleep is a visual one, but I don't think that it's a pleasant one to share. It's usually centers around me hoping that I won't have to get up to pee. So, I mean, I just don't know. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do here? So I don't know. Take a listen to this one because I thought that this was kind of interesting. Do you remember those bracelets that used to be kind of the big hoopla, the WWJD ones? Well, from the Department of it's going to happen sooner rather than later, church used ChatGPT AI to deliver the Sunday sermon. Pastor Jay Cooper of Violet Crown City Church in North Austin used the language learning model to do the Lord's work by having it write not only sermons but prayers as a song as well for the Methodist Church. He said that the reason that he used the bot was to deliver Sunday service was to inform our congregation about AI and to understand its potential and its limitations. And apparently, the ChatGPT program did reveal some limitations. The sermon was received by many as shallow and generic, according to the preacher, but it did create meaningful conversations among the parishioners. However, Cooper calls the AI message a one-time experience, at least now. Sounds like someone forgot to click save. That's how's that as irony? Just saying, isn't that what you refer to unorthodox orthodoxy? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that would be very unorthodox. Just something to think about.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Yes, that's what I have, my friends. That is what I have. Let's continue talking a little bit more about some things that are going on inside of the news, because, hey, that's what we talk about here. Some stuff going on inside of the news. Let me see. Should we talk about this? Yeah, let's talk about it. Well, if they load the file, I guess we could talk about it. Matter of fact, let's talk about this one. The Anaheim Police Department is investigating a deadly officer involved in a shooting that happened about a mile south of Disneyland. Anaheim Police Sergeant John Middlecock says that officers were running after a man before shooting him.
The suspect ran from officers, causing the officers to pursue him on foot. The officers ultimately caught up to the suspect at the corner of Harbor Boulevard and Orangewood Avenue, where a confrontation occurred and an officer-involved shooting occurred.
The deadly shooting happened at the gas station shortly after the 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. Police say that they said that exactly what prompted the shooting. Though the knife was recovered from the scene, no officers were injured, and the man was initially wanted on suspicion of sexual assault. This man, who is visiting from New Zealand, says that it's not that he saw some commotion up close.
Saw all the police, and there's a dead body over there, right? And that's just something we don't see in New Zealand. It's pretty crazy and pretty sad.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy and it is pretty sad. I definitely agree with that as we are talking. So there you go. Should we talk about this one? Let's talk about student loan debt. Student loan repayment have resumed for millions of Americans as the Supreme Court ruled this summer that the Biden administration didn't have the power to forgive their student loans. Take a listen to this.
Republicans have thwarted attempts to continue a moratorium that began during the COVID pandemic.
I don't know of any reason why people can't continue to pay their student loans on time.
That's Senator John Cornyn of Texas. He says President Biden acted illegally in forgiving student loan debt. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for that. Take a listen to this. When President Biden's son is pleading not guilty to federal gun charges in Delaware, Mark Mayfield has more.
Hunter Biden faces 3 felony firearms charges, including unlawfully possessing a gun as an illegal drug user. The charges came after a prior plea deal that allowed Hunter Biden to enter a diversion program fell apart following scrutiny from a federal judge. His court appearance lasted about 40 minutes. Hunter's attorneys have called the charges illegitimate. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one. Take a listen to this. The Fort Lauderdale mayor highlighted the Fortify Lauderdale initiative in his State of the City address at the Parker at 7 tonight. Dean Trentalis says that $500 million investment spanning over the next decade will target the hardest hit areas during storms like the epic one back in April.
We are in the middle of a storm water infrastructure project throughout the city. There are 8 neighborhoods that have been targeted initially to try to build storm systems.
This is in addition to the hundreds of millions of dollars in resilience efforts already underway across the city. Also, Dean went as far to speak about the new treatment plant, commuter rail, traffic, affordable housing, and additional police and firefighters. Dean also said that it will have to make up for years of inaction and resiliency effort.
We're working on it, and we have a lot to catch up on. You know, when you neglect this stuff for 20 years, we can't expect the results overnight.
He also says that Fortify Fort Lauderdale will help the 8 neighborhoods most affected by the historic flooding back in April.
Some of those most affected, we were right in the middle of a project trying to build these infrastructure projects that will help mitigate the impact that rainwater such as this does have on our neighborhoods.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring some John Smalls in for him to give us some motivation.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Gary. In the Fellowship of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien said, "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be the blade that was broken. The crownless shall again be king." First of all, what a beautiful way to say that. We don't speak like this anymore. It's a lost art. My view of what Tolkien said is sometimes we don't really know the full story about something until we get the details. I like to ask questions and then have conversations. I think it would be a great lesson for people who think they oppose each other. You should chat. You never know, you might just get along. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
COVID tests mailed out by the federal government are arriving in mailboxes again, but there might be a problem. Bree Tennis explains.
The government is offering free COVID-19 tests once again. You can go to covid.gov and sign up for 4 free tests, but some of the tests come with expired dates on the box. The Food and Drug Administration says the tests are not actually expired, and they'll be good until at least February of 2024. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
The U.S. Supreme Court is refusing to take a case related to the debate over what's known as shaken baby syndrome. They denied hearing the case of a Texas death row inmate convicted of killing his 2-year-old daughter. At the trial of Robert Robertson, his defense attorney showed that the child did not have serious neck injuries, saying that more consideration needs to be paid to medical histories. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Lee, for that information right there on what is going on inside of the world, though, because that's always important to talk about, no doubt about it. So thank you. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around, let's see. Back in, 2006. WikiLeaks is launched by publisher Julian Assange. The media organization and associate library specializes in large data sets censored or otherwise restricted official material involving war, spying, and corruption. That happened back in 2006. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Mike Williams turns 29. Dakota Johnson, 34. Little Mama turns 34. Derek Rose, 35. Melissa Benas turns 35. Rachel Lee Cook, 44. Alicia Silverstone turns 47 today. Bill Fagerbuckle turns 66. Russell Simmons, 66. Sherry Turner turns 67. Susan Sarandon turns 77. And Tony La Russa turned 79 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's Cinnamon Roll Day, World Animal Day, Ship in a Bottle, National Golf Lovers Day, Canadian Beer Day, National Vodka Day, Improve Your Office Day, Random Act of Poetry Day, National Pumpkin Seed Day, National Kale Day. Why in the hell would you have a National Kale Day out of all the things to have? That would be the day that you want to celebrate. Kind of a weird one, but if you're going to have one, this is the one to have. Today is National Taco Day. Here's some tasty details.
On Wednesday, October the 4th, Americans will celebrate their love of beef, cheese, and lettuce folded in a crispy tortilla. You won't have to shell out much money either because restaurants across the country are offering deals and discounts on tacos. Some of the major chains celebrating National Taco Day include Del Taco, which is having a month of deals called Tacoberfest. At El Pollo Loco, if you buy 2 tacos, you get the 3rd free. Jack in the Box is offering monster tacos for 99 cents. And Taco Bell, starting today, is bringing back its popular taco subscription service. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you for the taco word, because we need to know exactly what is going on with tacos. If you need a random joke for today, what is that? Hold on. What is it that I drive home so fast that after work that I'm like, I'm late for my house? Yeah, that's what most people think when I'm actually driving down to get there. If you need a phone starter today, try this. What do you spend way too much money on and time, but it's totally worth it? I don't know if I could discuss that on the radio, can I? Oh, there you go. A question for the water cooler. 32% of us say that other drivers drive them crazy when they do this. What is it? Walk slowly. Yep, I said that. Walk slowly. So a driver drives them crazy by them walking slowly. That makes no sense, but there you go. That's what it is. Anyway, so thank you for taking a listen. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so as we do our thing over there. If not, you can hang out on Safety FM and hang out with the sounds of Sheldon Primus as he does his thing, because that's what he does. Keep in mind, and we will put the podcast up right away, and also the video stream. That way people can have access to what they missed for some unknown reason. If you miss anything, because we're, like I said, radio station first, everything else is secondary. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time. Thanks for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because it doesn't make sense to do what we do without you. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Now give me that. Lay off those pounds, shake off that. Go get that crown, now give me that. Yeah, now give me that. Yeah, now give me that. Catching my breather, I'm close to the edge, girl, you passing the reefer, no ether. No catching, no visa, I run in my bag, be like running hyenas, amnesia. No, I don't know either, I'm standing beneath her, she pulling the lever, believe her. My fever reliever, I'm back on the mic like I'm filling arenas. Do you hear that sound, that snake bite? Pair of off-whites, outright low light. Rewrite time might be like midnight, spotlight, red light, green light.